Okay, how's everybody this morning? Sorry about that. I'm just adjusting the camera. Um, First things first, the video I did yesterday, and I'm glad there's only 15 views, because boy, did I ever make a mistake in that one. And I certainly apologize to anybody that watched that. The 1.8 million apparently died. Well, that's just how many cases there is. So the people have died way less than that. So obviously there's some kind of crazy big scare, because if you look at that, the odds of catching this virus are slim and none, and Slim just rode out of town. But anyways, we got something I seen yesterday, and I was quite surprised. It was a friend of mine posted it on Facebook. I'm going to tell you, so buckle up, boys. I'm driving. So today, we're going to talk about the 1918 flu pandemic. And once in a while, I have to put my reading glasses on, because I got some notes here. I don't want to make too many mistakes. Okay. Now, it took probably about 2 hours for me to read this whole report yesterday, but a lot of it was medical stuff I don't really understand anyways. But now apparently in Fort Riley, Kansas, between the dates of January 21st and June 4th, in 1918, they were injecting their soldiers with a vaccine that they'd cultured in horses. And the people that were doing this, surprise, was the Rockefeller Institute. And apparently that's where big pharmaceutical industry started up, was with these guys. Now, okay, so they called it the flu. Now, flu comes from, basically that was something they called just general stuff that they couldn't explain what was going on. It was called flu. And that word comes from, I believe it's fluenza. It's a medieval Latin word. And see, because they believe this stuff just come out of the sky. People got sick and that come out of the sky. Well, that Latin word apparently means like influenced by the stars, okay? That's where it come out of the sky come from, I guess. Now, the thing about flu is virus and bacterial, okay? Now, these bacterial stuff attacks people in their prime, okay? The flu goes after the young, the old, and people that are already compromised. That's basically how that works, okay? Now, they injected these soldiers with this virus. First of all, they injected 4,792 of them. They were scheduled for 3 shots, okay? The second dose that was given was only 4,257. So somehow they lost 11% of their soldiers they were experimenting with. The third dose, there was only 3,702 got the third dose. So that means 22% they lost. Well, what happened to them soldiers? Curious. See if we can find out. Okay, in the doctor's report from Fort Riley, apparently a lot of the soldiers, after they were given the injection, were complaining of coughs, vomiting, and diarrhea. Well, by March, on Fort Riley, the infirmary there was getting 100 men a day from this problem. So they'd injected these guys with this vaccine, and then they put them on trains and shipped them over to fucking Europe. Okay? Now, the reason they called it the Spanish flu because it wasn't a flu, and it had fuck all to do with Spain. The reason they called it that is because in the First World War, Spain was one of the few countries that was in the war that joined in the effort. Okay? Now, everywhere else in the world, the countries that had joined in the effort, their newspapers were censored. Remember, in that time, there's newspapers. That was it. There were no TV or nothing. And they didn't want people to know this. And they certainly didn't want their soldiers to know this, because it's a little hard to ask a guy to go out and run into the middle of no man's land and fucking run into machine gun bullets. Oh, and then, by the way, if you make it to the next one, you may die from the disease that's going around. Okay? They didn't want that panic. So it was quite easy, because the first reports of massive deaths from this were coming out of Spanish newspapers. They weren't censored. So it was easy for them to turn it into Spain. Okay? So it's complete bullshit. You know, I mean, not that our governments would do that, right, people? So, I mean, you can check that out. It's there. And it's all Army documents. And the person that wrote this thing, apparently one of their great-grandparents died from it. So, a little personal experience, I guess. Now, a lot of you may think that the government wouldn't do it. Come on, man. I don't know if you know, and I can't remember exactly the date, but it was pre-1950, I'm sure. But they were injecting black men in the South with syphilis to see what the fuck would happen. And not tell them, just let's see what happens. Okay? So, the nice thing about the First World War that did for the Rockefellers and the pharmacists was it gave them a whole bunch of guinea pigs to work on. Before the war, there was roughly 260,000 guys in the Army. After the war, about 290,000. But in between, there was like 6 million. So they had a bunch of guinea pigs. And if you ask me, that's what they're looking for now with these vaccines. Is a bunch of free guinea pigs. Huh? Do you think? So, that's the video for today, man, and I really apologize about yesterday, and I'm glad there's only a few people viewed it, because I really don't want to mislead people, and it's kind of an ugly day out here, too. I'm pretty goddamn sure it's snowing up in the hills there. It's raining down here anyway, so I hope everybody's safe, and, you know, look out for each other. It's getting a little weird out there. A cat.